All right, guys, I'm on my lunch. Sorry about the camera here. I got this new like stand thing on the dash. I don't like that it shows the wheel, but this is better than me holding the phone all the time when I'm in the car. So yeah, I'll just get right into it on this one, guys. And you'll be seeing this later, but this is going to be a persistent issue anyway. And this has to do with the list. I'm not going to say the name yet because I know YouTube scans the beginning of these videos to kind of like see what's being said. And I think I told you guys I already have a suspicion that my channel is shadow banned, because some of the videos get like 0 views. And again, it could just be that my content sucks. I don't know, but I don't think it's that. I think that this channel itself has been around for so long. I've left so many comments. Speaking of lists, right? I've left so many comments on so many creators' videos over the years. I've had this channel since 2010, so it's a very, very old 15-year-old channel here. So, but yeah, if you guys saw the thumbnail, I'm going to put it in the title as well, because I'm kind of learning like what you can and can't say, and I guess you could, like, the titles are fine. So you already know what the video is about, but why is Trump not releasing the list? That's kind of the theme of this video. I've been seeing a lot of people like freaking out about this online. You know, MAGA's dead. You know, I've made lots of videos about that too. But I think I've established quite well on this channel over the past several weeks, if you've been watching the content, that I've always kind of thought MAGA was a clown show. My history with Trump goes way back to the beginning, 2015, because I was so tired of Obama, and I got burned with Mitt Romney. I think I told you guys that the first time I ever voted was for Mitt Romney in 2012, and he didn't win, but then later on I found out what a cretin he was. So I was kind of just pissed off at politics, and so, you know, I totally bought into the Donald Trump MAGA hype. I was with it from the beginning. I didn't vote in 2016 because I kind of thought elections were honked back then too. So I didn't vote in 2016 because I thought for sure, I was like, there's no way they'll let Trump win. Like, Hillary Clinton will be in. Lo and behold, she didn't win, which I actually think that was a legitimate mistake by the regime. They allowed Trump to win without trying. So that was the mistake, and they've been trying to make amends ever since. Why am I giving you this history lesson? Because I want to illustrate what a massive disappointment Trump has been, and I've made several videos on the that are backing this up, right? Like, for all the good Trump does, I think that it's with Trump, it's something like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's how it's kind of always been with him. So like, he'll do a good thing every now and then, but then he'll do really bad things right afterwards. And the leftists are right about this. Trump has this ego where you can't really tell if he's lying or telling the truth. He tends to exaggerate things. He gaslights a lot, so that's always been a valid criticism of him. But this one is egregious, guys. This isn't because of the libertarians either why I'm like annoyed by this. It's because it hints at something far darker, far more sinister going on in the system at large. You know, I've been watching videos about this over the past couple days. Like, there's people that have said the Mossad or Israel is in the list, so they can't release it for that. And if you guys have been following it since the beginning, Trump campaigned on this. Just to give you guys like some backstory on this, I'll just say it now, the Epstein list. To give you guys some backstory on this, especially for the 2024 campaign, Trump literally campaigned on this. He said that he was going to release the list for sure. Pam Bondi pulled that stunt in the beginning of the year where she gave the binders out to the journalists, and then she was saying things like, oh, I've got the files on my desk, I've got the lists on my desk, I'm gonna read through it. And to be honest, I never liked Pam Bondi, so like I always knew that she was gonna fail. I mean, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but it's because she is a woman. Women in politics are absolutely useless. But also, she's a Zionist, guys. She's always been. That's something no one talks about enough, is that there are so many Zionists in the admin with Trump right now. Whether you think that Trump is, Mossad controlled or not, I think at this point he absolutely is. He made a deal with the devil to win this time. It's the only way, because they could choose to not let him win. They could have just let Kamala win. So I definitely think he made a deal with the devil. It probably happened when they were trying to throw him in jail. I don't know the exact date. A lot of people say it was when they tried to shoot at him. I don't think it was then. I think it was like when they were trying to jail him. In like 2023, I want to say, when they had like the mugshot and all that. Regardless, what happened is, as they say, he went into a smoke-filled room and they made him an offer he can't refuse. And so I think that's what got the tech bros on board, and they backed Trump. And to be honest, the whole Elon Trump thing, I'm starting to think it's just kayfabe. I don't think a lot of it's legit. I just think that Trump and Elon are kind of using each other. And then a thing too is that this might be a separate video, but with Elon's new America party that he's trying to start, if he does that, it'll actually help America first, because something that happened during Christmas was we saw how Elon basically wants all the Indians to work for his companies, right? With like that whole Vivek Ramaswamy debacle, and what happened with Elon, getting in arguments with people about H-1B visas. And so, yeah, this would help MAGA. So I hope that the Elon thing is legit. I would love for him to go shake up the left, go back to the party that he belongs. But I think also that it's just Trump and him kayfabing. So that has to do with this as well. So it's a distraction. So what's happened recently is they basically came out, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. That's one to think about too. Dan Bongino has had a long-running podcast. He was one of my intros into politics, actually. When I started watching podcasts, it was Dan Bongino and Steven Crowder. Those are like the two. I know, I was like very normie level, but those are the two. So I already know I know Dan Bongino thought there was an Epstein list. Like he's been outspoken on this issue for half a decade at least. So I know for sure that he knows that he's lying, right? Pam Bondi, again, she's a Zionist. I think Dan Bongino's a Zionist too. They have religious, socio-political reasons as well. Kash Patel's an Indian, so like I never really liked him as the pick for FBI. In fact, they shouldn't even have an FBI. They should just dissolve it. But again, this is just, Trump's not capable of this. I've said this in the past. It doesn't matter what Trump does. The spirit of the age is going to propel us forward in a right-wing direction out of necessity, because we're literally going to die as a human species if we don't. So yeah, they are not going to release the Epstein list. And they basically said this. They said that there is no list. Epstein killed himself, and we should all just forget about it. And then when Trump was asked about this recently, he kind of was just like, oh, what about the catastrophe in Texas, right? Like, look at all these good things I'm doing. Look at the big, beautiful bill. He did all this like weird Trump scum stuff that it's like, okay, he's just gaslighting. He's just dodging the question. And so I've given you the backdrop. Sorry if it was kind of like spurgy the way I did it, but that's not what I wanted to talk about on this video. I just needed to like give you guys the backdrop in case you guys don't know what's going on. Basically, the long story is that Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein list. He specifically, supposedly put people in his cabinet that cared about releasing the Epstein list, and that was a big campaign promise, campaign goal. And so for him, 6-7 months into the administration, to just completely gaslight on this and try to get us to forget, basically, he's essentially doing what all the other politicians have done in the past, right? And that leads to the really sinister aspect of all of this, is that there's two theories, right? And I think it's both at once. The first theory is that this heavily implicates Israel, so they can't release this because our greatest ally will be affected by it, which is probably true. But my suspicion and my opinion is that it's much deeper and darker than this. And the Jolly Heretic talked about this. Shout out to his channel. Go check him out if you guys haven't. But basically what this list would signify to the normie, right? People that are not plugged in, people that just watch the news, right? Because they would have to talk about this, or they'd have to do some kind of damage control. So I think what Trump's doing, and this is the big disappointment for Trump, is that he's seen how rotten the swamp is, right? His whole campaign since the beginning was drain the swamp. But I think Trump is, because he's such a businessman, and because he's got so many like Jewish handlers now, you know, so many tech handlers, that like transhumanists, people like that, like Peter Thiel types around him. The Epstein list, if it is indeed a list, right? We could just say the clients, right? Because we know that there are clients. These are people that went to the island and they partook in the festivities, you could say, that went on there. The reason why he will not release the list is because it is going to be so catastrophic to the system that I actually think it would cause a civil war. I think it would cause like a French Revolution style revolt. And like I said, I think something like this is coming anyway, because Trump is going to end after 4 years of Trump. And really, when the boomers start dying, which again is going to start happening now, every year, more and more boomers are going to die. This whole catastrophe will only be able to be hidden for so long. But the interesting thing about society, and this kind of hints at just how disgusting our society is, right? Like what a scam our society is. This goes into my past discussions about like pornography and MK Ultra mind control, particularly trauma-based mind control. I've had some people comment saying that like what I'm talking about, it doesn't make sense, but I promise you it makes sense if you look into this. One of the reasons why everybody is so coom-brained now, right? Coomer and addicted, right? I've admitted myself, I struggle with this. I have a lust problem. I've always struggled with lust. But the society throws that at you, right? Like when I was a kid, like Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, like these girls were like in bikinis, you know, dancing and doing all the, it's like young men have no chance with this stuff anymore. It's such a pornographic, degenerate society. We have like no chance. And the women equally have no chance, because they're taught to do this, and then they're taught to hate all men and work some crappy office job while going into student loan debt. So again, it shows you how sinister the system is. And what I'm trying to bring up is the reason why they won't release the Epstein list is because what the elites and society, you know, the bureaucracy, the politicians, whatever you want to call it, what they've done is they've committed so many crimes that they've had to project those crimes onto the broader society to avoid accountability. It's the logic of, it's like an Ouroboros, if you guys have seen that logo, where the snake eating its tail. I think the logic would be like, well, if the ship is going down, I want to take as many of you with me. And so this is why they go after Christianity. This is why they attack the family, particularly feminism. I've said in the past, it's probably the most sinister psyop of all time is convincing women to not be women. That has implications that ring across every spectrum of every issue. So the feminism one was big, and then going after the churches, and then the last one obviously is multiculturalism, opening the borders and just letting anyone immigrate to the country. This is basically how you destroy a nation, right? And so it's very much a don't look over here, look over there kind of thing that they're trying to create. And, you know, they're trying to create, you know, RACE. I don't know if I can say the word on here, but they're trying to stoke that flame by bringing in infinity immigrants. You know, they've already got the men and the women completely divided. You know, they're getting the men with like the porn and the sex bot promise of the future, and they're getting women are a lot easier for some reason. They just promise them an office job, and women go nuts for that, I guess. So families aren't being born as much as they used to be, and then the diversity has all the kids, and then they're pushing like abortion and all that. So yeah, basically that is what this represents, guys. The reason why Trump will not do it, and again, I'm not even defending him on this. I think that this is a massive cucking. This is the absolute cowardice move. It confirms all of my deepest fears of Trump, to be honest. Like, I've had these for years, where I was like, if he gets elected again, he could either be the greatest president ever, or he could be the most disappointing president ever. And I've already talked about how disappointing he is. But I had a little bit of the hopium this time last year, actually, guys. We're in July right now. This was the time last year when he got shot. So it's already been a whole year. We had all that hope, right? It's like, oh, they shot at him, you know, there's no way he's gonna cuck. But now here we are a year later, and he is refusing to release the Epstein list. And the reason why is because I've said this before, I don't think he has the balls to do what is necessary. And in this case, the thing that's necessary is to just stop lying to the public. That's always been my policy. Stop lying, especially now, right? We are now in a time in history where everything is out of the shadows, right? Any sense of romance or nuance or espionage, you could say, or, you know, subtlety, that's all been thrown out the window, because now you've got trannies, you've got women's rights, you've got you know, like I said, pornography and drugs. All this stuff is on a mass scale. They have opened the floodgates for all the degeneracy. There's like furries, you know, you got weird anime, like it's everything now. Everything has been compromised. So any type of attempt Trump is trying here to save the system is just laughably bad. And it just shows you how weak and pathetic he is, how pathetic his admin is around him. And I'm pretty firm sticking with this video. Trump might do some good things, and I might talk about in the future, but this, like I said, I think Trump is going to end as a president that has done far more bad than good, and really just disappointing is what it is. This hints at malice. That's what makes this annoying. This hints at Trump saw the list, his team saw the list, they know who's on the list, and then Trump just won't do it. He just won't do it because he's like, oh, I can't let the system crumble. I can't let this Jewish usury-based, you know, fiat currency system crumble. We can't have that. We can't actually make America great again. Not if it affects Israel, guys. We can't have that. Not if it affects Hollywood. I made a video about that. He wanted to save Hollywood. That was one of the most laughable things I'd ever seen anyone do. So you see where his mind is at. His mind is, he's a boomer, for one. He wants green line to go up. That's all he cares about. I don't know if these tariffs are even going to work, any of the economic stuff. Economics in and of itself, I've read all the books. It's a pretty fake and gay science in general, especially when you get into the Keynesian side of it. But him trying to play economics with tariffs, like none of this is going to work. We have a fundamental spiritual issue here in America. People are losing interest in the system every day. They're losing interest in their religion. I call it that. The religion that is fiat currency is slowly evaporating, because we're in it now. People are working again, but everything is getting more expensive. It's happening to me, right? I'm making more money per hour right now at my current job than I've ever made per hour at any job ever. But I also feel like my spending power is the lowest it's ever been, because I'll go on Amazon, I'll spend $100 on like 3 items. It's that easy now. Something that would be like, an order that would be like $40 in the past is now easily almost $100. So it doesn't matter how much money you make anymore. You could make 6 figures, and that's still, depending on where you live, that still is, you're just barely making it. So this is starting to affect the normies, and everyone's waking up, and this ties back into why he won't release it. We are on the teetering edge right now, and like I said before, I think if he releases this list, this is going to wake so many people up so fast that it could cause a French Revolution style event, we could say, a civil war of some kind. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it would look like, because we live in a time now where, you know, men and women are so... Sorry, my video's starting to glitch out here. I hate when it does this. We live in a time now where men and women are just so cucked in general that I don't know what kind of a civil war it would be. So I'm going to end the video now. It's been 20 minutes, but that's basically why he won't do it, guys. That's my thoughts on this. He wants to save the system. He does not want to drain the swamp. That's kind of what we learned. He wants to save the swamp. He wants to put his friends in there, which is like Bibi Netanyahu and, you know, all of his real estate buddies and Fox News buddies. And so he's not the one. But people know enough now. People know enough where the spirit of this age is going to continue to propel forward. And I just don't think there's any stopping that. So that is the video, guys. I will talk to you all later. I didn't say it in the video, but please like and subscribe to this channel. You know, hit the bell icon, comment down below. I appreciate all the support, and I will talk to you guys later.